waffle again today, guys. The music ended there on that rather splendid chord there. Modal chord, no less. Welcome. It is another Wednesday guitar class, folks. It is Wednesday, the 27th of August. It's 7 p.m. It's time to start this. And what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to get back into this modes. We're going to carry on from last week. Last week was more about the theory side of things. That I get it. Some folks struggle with that stuff. You've got to get your head around that idea. It's duality. It's like the universe. We're here, but then how are we here? It's like, what? Where do we come from? Yeah, it's an improbability, and that's what it is. It's a bit paradoxical, is if that's the correct word, for describing modes. And I think that's the way. It's a duality. Yeah, so it's yin and yang. It's you've got to kind of look at it in this way. So I appreciate that last week was heavy going, man. And that's the thing. So but if you enjoyed it last week and you're here again, thank you very much for coming back. Let's have a look at numbers and see if we're doing all right for numbers. So not everybody, I haven't frightened everybody off with last week, because what we're going to do this week, we focused a lot on the theory last week, but now it's like what we're going to look at is a bit more practical. This is why it probably takes a little bit longer to do modes, because there's a lot to unpack, really, to be honest. And the thing that I wanted to impress upon you last week was that there are two ways of looking at modes. The modes are derived from the major key, yeah, and they are relative to the major key. So you could kind of think of it like that. And then there's this idea of parallel modes. There's also, as well, I think, this thing that you need to latch onto, and it is hearing the sound of a mode, yes, and not... especially with guitar, and as I'll be showing you some patterns today, yeah, it's not thinking that the pattern is the mode, because that's not always the case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into the two ways. I'm going to break it down into those derived relative modes relative to C major, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do parallel modes, when we're going to have a tonal center of the note A in there. So we've got a drone going here. I've got I shall put links in to Ben's backing tracks for his drone notes as well. But and what I'm probably going to do is I can't do it this week, but I think what I would like to do is, and I've promised this before, I mentioned this, is that I would do a class on modal chord progressions, because modal chord progressions, we handle them completely different to normal bog standard major and minor chord progressions that we just know. You know, that theory stuff it's easy enough, but when we've got to twist it a little bit, you know, it's from the same camp, but we've got to look at it kind of like, you know, like through the side of the crack in the door and kind of just see it, you know. So that's what we've got to do, guys. That's what we're going to do. So that's what we're going to do today. But I need to just state, yes, I really need to just put this out there. I've put some note. I'm reading my notes here. If you don't know the basic major scale, and I'm saying, when I say that, I mean in more than one position, yeah, or your 5 pentatonic box patterns, yeah, then this might be just a step too far, yeah. So but bear with it, yeah. Think of it as a mental chew toy, yes, yeah. You're not gonna you might not fully understand it, yes, but I want you to still digest the information, because what it is, yeah, when it becomes relevant to you and you get to that point where you need it, you can recall back into it, and then what it will do is, well, your subconscious will serve that information up for you, and you'll get the clarity, and you'll connect that there. So it's almost like laying seeds for future eureka moments and light bulb moments when it does happen for you, when you do get it. So that's the thing. But don't get emotionally invested in that You have to absolutely learn it today, and if you don't, then it's like it's too hard for you, yeah? But like I say, the practicalities of learning guitar is you need to be able to play the basic scales and your basic pentatonics. I really think that. Now, saying that, I'm going to show you the modes today in caged. Well, what I think of them as, this marries into the cage system, yeah, but we can think of them as cage patterns as well. But this will marry into the cage system beautifully, yeah. So and that's a cool thing that I think about this, is learning this rather than 3 note per string patterns, which is a completely different lesson as well, because I have a different approach to 3 note per string, and that's the whole unpacking of another thing. So yeah, so don't worry about that. So what we're also going to do, I'm going to say, yeah, so just listen to that, and then be realistic where you are on your learning journey. And like I say, so the harmony side of things, it's like standard chord progressions are built on that major minor diatonic harmony, and that gives us the relative and the derived perspective. But when you want to create modal sounds, what we need to do is we need to create modal progressions. And that's, like I say, I'll follow up on a lesson on modal chord progressions in the future, and I think that's the thing. Right, so that's what we're going to do in today's class, yes? And what we will do then is we will get in here. If this is your first time here, guys, just let me know. Let's see you say hi in the chat. There's 101 people on here and only 41 likes. Come on, guys. Wallop that like. Get the algorithm to push it up in the feed there, so other people can find this as well, and it might open some doorways for them as well. So that's what I want you to do, guys. So like if you were wondering, there's no ticker at the top because this isn't from the book. Although there is a lesson on hearing the modes in the book. Now, if you don't know what the book is 80 lessons. That's available on Amazon as a paperback, on Lulu as a spiral bound. Let me just put this up here because you might be wondering, well, where do I get the book from, Ricky? Well, you get the book just here. This is where you get it from. You get it there, and all the links to it are there. So Amazon, Lulu as a spiral bound version, which is very good for the music stand, I find. Nice and portable, easy to fold pages over. And also the ebook, if you've got an iPad and you want it on your iPad and you want to get into the Fretboard fraternity, all 80 of the videos are in there for you. You might be wondering what the Fretboard fraternity is as well. Where's Phil? He's usually saying something now. The Fretboard fraternity is here. This is a free community that I've set up, guys. It's absolutely free. Yeah, you can come in here, be yourself, as long as it's about guitar. We do like dogs. We've had a staff here around today, a Staffordshire Terrier around today. He's called Keith. He's lovely. So we're all full with dog love at the moment. So we love them. We love the doggies. So yeah, doggy pictures in the Fretboard fraternity. Pictures of guitars, we like that. Cake, you know, these are all pleasant things, and that's what the whole group is for. It's for that. That's what it's for. If you get in there, it'd be lovely to get to know you in there, and I go in there and I talk. It's just better than trying to communicate through the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. I've tried on Facebook. I've tried it, and it's like, don't see them. Somebody says, "Oh, I commented," and I don't see it. Whereas in the Fretboard fraternity, I see it. So that's the whole point of the Fretboard fraternity. Also, what I'm going to do, guys, is there is going to be a whole bunch of handouts for today's lesson as well, and I will bang them up in the PDF club, which is here, which is attached to the Fretboard fraternity. It just so happens, and basically that is the full archive of all my lesson PDFs, all the handouts, all the worksheets, everything else that you want there. I think there's over 350 now, Mrs. Ricky, isn't there? I think so. Yes, it is. Yeah, so there's loads in there to dig into, absolutely tons. And you search bar, you just type in what you want to learn, and then the lessons come up, and so you can have a look, and then you download the PDFs, print them off. It's pretty cool. And then you get an email every week with links to the PDFs and links to the video. Because what I like to do, these live sessions, I talk to people on here. And what I like to do is I like to get rid of all of the fluff and all the extra stuff and just condense it down just to the lesson and upload that on a Saturday as well, just to make it more concise and add any more resources that I think might be needed for that lesson as well. So that's what it's all about. That's what PDF Club's all about as well. And do we have if you turn up to the live stream, we usually have a code here for a discount on PDF Club. Do we have one, Mrs. Ricky? She's putting it in the chat right now. So if you want to sign up for PDF Club, just check it out on that link there and see if it's for you. We will go from there, and we'll see you in the PDF Club as well, which is wonderful. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's time to do this. Is it gonna happen? I wonder. Is it right? I'm just doing this right now. If you're a regular, you know what this means, don't you? Lesson starts. Right. I'm gonna do the roll call, but I'm gonna set the timer. Yeah. Thankfully, somebody has been putting in the timestamp. Somebody's been putting in the timestamp for when the lesson actually starts. So just thank you very much. I usually do that myself, but it's nice that somebody's been doing it as well. So I will put that there, and let's do a 15-minute countdown, because guys, what we're going to do is we're going to say hello to everybody in the community who turns up week after week here, joins in the conversation, chatting to each other in the chat. I love it to bits. I love you guys to bits. I think it just makes me extremely happy to live stream here on a Wednesday. It's the best. I'll just take a sip of water because there's a lot of talking. Let's have a look. So let's put the countdown on. Here we go. Here's the countdown. I'm going to go to the top of the chat and scroll all the way down, and if it's your first time, let us know and we'll give you a shout out. That's the way it works here. So we've got Mrs. Ricky. Oh no, she's been talking to everybody. We've got Phantom in the chat as well today, saying it's suspiciously quiet. I think it's picking up a bit now, mate. I think it is. John Carver is in the chat as well, chucking it down in Durham, but the sun's coming out again. Oh, that's lovely. Nice to know. Chimp number 1 is in sunny Scotland. Remember, every Wednesday is a school day. Well, every day is a school day if you practice every day. That's the thing. John Steer, Eyup from Austin. Robin Tate. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Glad to have you here, Robin. Frank Gladden as well in Maryland. Jerry Linde, Eyup. Winston. Moy is in North Dallas. Peter Hughes is on time tonight. No star jumps. Graham Wood, Eyup Ricky from East Yorkshire. Irene is here from Petaluma, California. How cool is that? California. Everybody comes from all over the world. They all turn up here. It never ceases to amaze me. It's absolutely wonderful. Davy Boy is in Ontario. We've got Phil James. He's hoping for another great lesson with Ricky Kwiski. What's all this PDF Club all about? Yes. And thank you as well. It's nice. We were in the PDF Club the other Fretboard Fraternity, and we were just testing out some video camera stuff in there, and a few of the guys came in, and it was lovely to see you, Phil. I've got a face to the name now. I love that. Dave SVT, hey Ricky from Beautifully Comfortable. That sounds sumptuous. Beautifully comfortable. Are you on a chaise longue? One of those, like reclined eating grapes, like a Roman, maybe. Someone peeling cheese triangles for you, and then just popping them in your mouth. Maybe that. I don't know. Why did that come up in my mind? I don't know. But that's Dave. He's comfortable in Ohio. We've got Wayne Johnson from Cowtown. Roy Dunn. Roy Dunn says, I have learnt more about the guitar from your book than all of the music books. Hang on. We've got a reprise here. We have a reprise. I'm going to get rid of this here. Let me just... Oh, look, It's Yorkshire tea time, guys. Start the session with a cup of Yorkshire tea and say, hey up, give you the Yorkshire salute. This is made by Miss Ricky, and I'm just going to have a sup, see if it's too hot. No, it's not too hot. It's hot. You know, do you know when your tea's like just right? That's just right. That's just right. Yeah, that's just right. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much. So, there you go. I've got my cup of tea, and look what I've got it in. I've got it in my... Hang on, I'll just hide my eyes because it won't focus. My major pentatonic autopsy mug. Yes, so that breaks down caged octaves. I've got to do this with this one, but put a barcode, a QR code on the side that goes to the lesson. I think that would be rather cool. So I'm going to do that, and I've done that on some of the others. But yes, look down below. You'll see them, the mugs. We've got that there. So Roy says, let me just pull this up. Roy says, I've learned more about the guitar from your book than all the books, the music books I own. Well, that's praise indeed. Thank you very much, Roy. And I love the fact that your profile picture is you playing guitar. So that's what it's all about, isn't it? We have Patrick in the chat here as well in West Brom. Hoping for a better session this week. Your head had a meltdown last week. Yes, it's a tricky thing, is modes. But today, it's basically, I kind of think of this as more as being point and shoot. We're going to play patterns. We're going to play chords, and those chords and scales will match each other, and you'll hear the sound of the modes. That's the idea, and understand the context. So that's the thing. And Roy's is in Georgia as well. Let's have a look. Michael Carter is in New Mexico. First timer on this. Right, Michael, well done. Thank you very much. Thank you for turning up. We appreciate you spending your Wednesday evening here on YouTube. You could be out, like, I don't know, dancing, or well, you could be doing any number of things. Butterfly catching, I don't know. I'm just imagining things that I'd like to be doing, out in the woods, butterfly catching with a net. I'm joking, because that's not the kind of thing that I do. Yeah, so Maria is in the chat as well. Good evening, Fretheads. We have Araman 3048 in Bern, Sweden. We've got Telefunken 12AX7. Those are valves, aren't they? I think a 12AX7 is a valve. In an old valve amp, vintage amps. Yes, so Tony Davis, Eyup from Liverpool. We've got Major Pentatonic, Eyup. Good to see you. Thunder Ace, my OG. Yes, Eyup. There we go. Stefan Weber. We've got Metal Festival season is over. Happy to attend the live classic. Oh yeah, a lot of festivals have been on, haven't they? So obviously, if you're there in the mosh pit, swirling, doing your swirling dervish thing, then it's all good. We understand that. I used to really enjoy a good mosh pit, so I get that. Relaxing meditation. Hey up, Ricky. Hope all is well. As everyone, keep up your great inspirational work. We're lucky to have you for your knowledge as our reference, mate. Oh, thank you very much. Bill T is in the chat. Hey up, all. Glad to be here and looking forward to a great vibe session. There we go. Let's have a look. We're going down the chat here. Gumby Scores, Eyup, Fretheads, Michael Burke. Oh, hang on, what's that? What's that? I'm looking at the old profile picture there. I'm hoping that's an American football team. Greg Barrows, evening, Greg. We've got Micah Allen. Eyup Ricky, great hair. You and Mrs. Ricky are looking extra marvelous today. Eyup Fretheads, I'm so honoured to be here. Thank you. I love your attitude, Mike. It's great. Sean Armour. What's up, kids? Hey, Ricky. So cool. Malcolm Dengate is in the chat from Sussex. Rocket 67 is just saying hello. Enjoy the show. Just saying hello. Thank you very much for popping in. I appreciate it, even if you have to leave. Marcel Leblanc, up from a nice 20 degrees C Longueuil in Quebec. We have that. We've got Quebec That's in Canada as well, isn't it? Yeah, I know it is. We've got Tim C. Hello all. Three Dogs Brewery. Eyup from East Tennessee. Eyup Neil. Lem Biggs in Texas, y'all. Yes, get your hat, Sean. Get your hat. I do need to get a hat. Mrs. Ricky was telling me that I missed it in the chat that you were talking about, like a Frethead baseball hat or something. A Frethead hat like this. I think that would do it. All guitarified. Whatever that is. Yeah. That's more like a moose hat. Ron Carrillo is in California. Analog Kid, happy Wednesday, fellow Fretheads. And Rocket says, yes, hit the like button, guy. Yeah, definitely. Rennie Hartman, howdy from Holland, MZ, with your unique little... I don't know what that icon means. I don't know what that one means, to be fair, if I'm honest. It looks Boolean. It's like 0, 1, but maybe a 1. I don't know. Dark Gent, howdy y'all. Michael Davis, hey up. Eyes down for another musical masterclass. Another masterclass. Mo Chef Canna, hey Ricky, I look so forward to this and I actually understand it all. Well, that's the whole point. I'm glad you do. Papa Doc is in Dixieland. Cody Lamar. What are we doing for time? We're good. Small water feature. I like that name as well. And we've got this all made sense to me eventually last week. Let's see if anything has stuck in your head. Wonderful. That's what I want to hear. Anik is in the chat. Maria says she doesn't particularly like modes a lot. Yes, we have the mnemonics for the modes in there as well. We've got Carter Hutchinson. Sorry, I'm late. I've not started, mate. So there's nothing to worry about. When the lesson starts, if you're late, then it's time to think about star jumps. So we've got Srenang Eyup Fawaka there. We've got Mario van Leuven in Antwerp. We've got Wowee. Hi from the Bahamas. Oh, the Bahamas. Looks nice. We've been looking at some stuff over there, seeing if it's a nice place to go on holiday. Or a cruise, maybe. We have Malcolm Dengate in... Oh, I meant a wet Sussex. All right, okay. I thought it was West Sussex. Yes, Chipman One says, remember to bash your button. Yeah, don't forget, bash the button, guys. Lawrence O is in London. We have, who else do we have? Lem says, does Ricky own a cowboy hat? I wonder. I don't own a cowboy hat. I think I'd probably look quite ridiculous in one, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I would. I might do. Depends on the cowboy hat. We'll find out when we eventually get to the States. Let's have a look. Roy Donut, I think I finally understood the formulas of the modes and the formulas relate to the major scale of the root note. Kind of, yeah, I think you are. I think you sounds like you're barking up the right tree. Bob P is in Virginia. Dale Sam is here. Hey, folks, in the mode for Guitar Wisdom. I see what you did there. That's interesting. And Greg's wondering if the barbers are on strike in Yorkshire. No, I am growing the hair in anticipation of joining a band, and I don't know what kind of band it is gonna be. I don't know at all, but I'm anticipating growing my hair so that I just look the part. That's the thing, and I'm 55. I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, I've had short hair for a bit. Let's just grow it long. I might shave. I might, like lop it all off. You never know. It is at the funny stage now, so that's why the hat's on. Phil Swan, evening all. Only able to stay until 8 p.m. tonight. Nice to see Phil. Alan Mackey is in the chat. We've got John Essam here this week and caught up with replay. Bayek, it was informative. Let's go further down the rabbit hole. Feed my head, as Jeff Airplane says. You smiling Yorkshire cat. We don't talk about Alice. Cosmic Dogs is in the chat. Nice to have you here. Ingo Knoll, Idpul Mal, everyone, and happy moding. Bob P. Fretboard Fraternity is absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. We're all fans of, we like dogs. Pictures of cake. Yes, pictures of cake, dogs. We like all that stuff. Cosmic Dogs, missed the live. Your lessons are fire. Oh, your lessons are fire. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Cosmic. Let's have a look. Phil Swan said, thanks for the tip on the magic. And the other week, I'm trying to incorporate it into my chord changes. Oh, the magic and. Yes. There's going to be more on the Magic Hand and that sort of stuff in chord changes. Yeah, help to smooth out that stuff. It's not hard, you know. Get rid of those pauses. That's another lesson. I think James might be trimming one of those up. Might be something that I do again. But the Magic Hand is absolutely wonderful. Dan says something has to sink in. It will do. Let's have a go. We'll do it. Ryan YT has got waffles. Yes, waffles. There's still 2 minutes there. There's still 2 minutes 10. There's still time for me to completely miss the mark with it. Unless Mrs. Ricky's put a poll in the thing whether I'll hit it again. Mrs. Ricky, please put it in there. She has done. Every week, right? Get no respect in this house. I tell you what. She knows me so well. So look, there we go. To see if we finish on time. I hope you're having a pleasant evening. We know we'll be late on the waffle. Part of that gets me no. F and E and B and C. Excellent. Onno van Leersum, hello from Holland. Duke of Earl from Richmond. We have Joe Harvey, the Course Gold Kid, in the chat. Cosmic Dogs are in Switzerland. Who else have we got? Cat Bubba just made it from Vancouver. We also have... who else have we got? We also have Robert Kennedy, still hot in Texas. Terry Lauder, hey up Terry, we haven't seen you for a bit in the chat, I don't think, but you're here today, and that's the main thing. We have Paul Crawford in Pembrokeshire. Oh, love Pembrokeshire. Yes, St David's down that end, absolutely wonderful. We have got Mark Carter, Mountain Brook in Alabama. Big Steve's in Olympia. Cody Lamar is in Arkansas. See, I rhymed that. And then who else do we have? Rob K is in the chat in the Netherlands. We have Eva Dunstan in Swansea. We've got, we also have, who have we got? Oh, Michael confirmed, Santa Clara, American football. It's Liverpool, isn't it? Yeah, okay, the other side. There we go. We have Wayne's Music World. Intervals may be the most important word in guitar theory. Yes, indeed. Michael Burke, thank you very much. Absolutely appreciate your kind donation. Even though it's put me so that the ticker has gone. But I'll tell you what, guys. I am. If it had 16 minutes on it, I think I'd have been just about there. But thank you very much for that, Michael. I really appreciate that. Shauna's here in the chat. We also have My Knees Hurt. I have not given up on modes. I just stick to Ionian, Aeolian. See what you did there? Major and minor. There we go. Let's have... Shauna, not beard and hair grown, looks like Cousin It. Thank you. Maybe go for a country mullet. Should I go for a country mullet? I think my daughter, she would cry. So let's do that. G-Man in Denver. We've got Hans and Elise. Hi, I'm rather late tonight. It's okay. Elizabeth Azud is in the chat. Waffle time. And we have got to the end of the chat. And I'm going to start the lesson, guys. And I think that's probably the closest I've ever got to it. Must be the closest I have ever got to that chat there. I just like to wait until everybody comes in. I tell you what, I've got time to blow my nose now and have another sup of my tea. He's going to need a bigger boat. I know what you're saying. The Jaws thing. There was two went into the water. Right, so we've got Andrew Nicholson as well from East Yorkshire, long time lurking, just purchased Lifetime PDF Club, love it all. Thank you very much, Andrew. Appreciate you coming in today and appreciate you participating in the PDF Club as well and doing that as well. There's loads to dig in. You remember, it's not just the past videos, it's the future ones as well. As long as I'm on YouTube, that's where these PDFs are going to go in there. Right, okay, so let's start this lesson. We're going to start the lesson, and what we need to do is, like I say to you, we talked about it last week. There were two ways to get the modes, okay? And and that is deriving them from the major key, and also as parallel modes where we have a tonal center, and that's the home sound for the mode. Okay, right. So the thing is, and the funny thing is, when modes really kind of clicked for me was when you apply the chords to them. Okay, when you apply chords to them, then it starts to make a bit more sense when you play the scale, and then what happens is you then play on the chord. Yeah, so it's the underlying harmony of the chord that defines everything. Okay, so that's the thing. I've got some juicy, lovely chords here as well for some examples for later on for the parallel modes. So the derived method. What I want to do is I want to show you. I'll tell you what. I'm going to go straight over onto pen and paper. Yeah, I'm going to switch over onto pen and paper here. There we go. So we've got the pen and paper here. And I'm just going to recap on this. We're going to do this in C major, okay? So this is derived, okay? This is the derived from the major scale, major key, right? Now, you could even think of each mode as being an inversion of the major. But hang on, let me just say this, yeah. But I kind of struggle with that idea because when I think about modes historically, then it gets a little bit blurred. And I mentioned last week that Dorian was the big chief mode that music was played around. That was the basis for all music in ancient Greece. And then Lydian and major is only a lot later. I think it's around about the 15th century, sometime around then that the major key thing came in. So really, yeah, I try and be a little bit agnostic. When I mean that, I mean it's just like I don't really care too much about the prioritizing major as being the big be all and end all. It is for common music theory, but when it comes to modes, then it kind of isn't. But so the thing is, these are derived. You can think of them as well as being relative. Yeah, just like we've got a relative minor to the major, we can have relative modes as well. Modes, we're thinking of them as relative from the chord 1. And I'm going to do this in the key of C. So this is the thing. I'm just going to write out the notes. Now, this isn't a cycle of thirds, guys. This isn't a cycle of thirds. This is just me going to write out the C major scale. And you can see it's the C major scale because I've put this in here. It goes up step, step, half step, 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 half step. Think of that as whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Whichever one floats your boat, we're not going to argue about it. But the thing is, when I write this C major scale out, what happens is it tells me the notes that my modes are going to have as their tonics. So when I look at this, I go, oh, look, there, C there. The next note's going to be D. This is going to be E. This is going to be F. This is going to be G. This is going to be A. And this is going to be B. Now, like I say, in PDF Club, there's a work sheet for this, and it's a blank one. You could swap this out and for any key. Yeah, so this is why there's a staff here, so that you can draw the key signature in. Good practice. Just practicing drawing out key signatures so that you memorize how many sharps or flats are in there. Absolutely marvelous for you. Really good. One of those things to do when you're away on holiday and you can't take a guitar with you. You can do stuff like this just to keep the old grey matter going. So this is what we're looking at here, guys. So this is just basically from that major key, and it's from the key of C major that we're looking here. Right? Now what I could do is I can apply, remember, this is where the Roman numerals thing comes in. Uppercase Roman numerals mean major, lowercase mean minor. So let me just put the chords in here. So we've got C major, got D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and then we get B diminished there. So the thing is, I can use this to kind of plot out what chords are going to go with the mode. So if I play the Dorian there, the pattern, I know that it's going to start on the note D. If I'm thinking of it as being derived from the key of C major, okay, it's from there. Here, I'm going to play it on this. Now, this is a great way to look at it. Yeah, E minor. Yeah, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually show you. I drew these out the other week, and I did them with my old trusty highlighters on a fretboard diagram. But I want you to see how the patterns fall naturally within the C major scale. Now, look at the notes here, guys. No sharps or flats. And that's the nature of the guitar fretboard. If we look at the guitar fretboard and we just look at the naturals there, no sharps or flats, we have the key of C major, yeah, or A minor. But then you can start to think to yourself, if you expand that idea out, then you can start to think, or it could be D Dorian, or it could be E Phrygian, or it could be F Lydian, or it could be G Mixolydian, A Aeolian, which is also known as the natural minor, also known as the relative minor. Yeah, so the thing is, if you've heard of the relative minor, well, you think about that. That's a minor mode, is Aeolian. Phrygian's a minor mode. Dorian's a minor mode. So really, these guys are relative minors as well, but they're of a different flavour. And I explained the flavours where modes change from a bright sound to a dark sound, and we're going to get into that as well. I'll demonstrate that a little bit later on. So the first one I'm going to look at here is let's look at Ionian here, right? And and this is an interesting way of looking at this. So we can see that when I plot these out with this sheet here, what I can do is I can use the formulas for the scales. This is why I should. Do you know what? I should just have just in the chat, guys. Tell me, should I make a mug that is the modal scale formulas? Yeah, mode scale formulas, and just so that you could just look at it and memorize them. You've got to memorize them, and if it's in front of your face because you're drinking, a cup of tea out of it, then it's like you're carrying it around with you. You can take it into the garden and you're practicing. Yeah, so I just wonder, should I do that? Is that something that should happen? Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is, short of that, if you have the book, I will say this, if you have the book, just to help you, go to the back of the book, guys. Go to the back of the book. Right? Right? And what you'll see is in the back of the book, the modal formulas, yes, are plotted out there. The modal formulas are all plotted out there. If you had those on a mug, would that be useful? Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through those. I'm going to go through them with you. All right? And I'm just going to show you how this all plots out. But first, let me explain what's going on here. Let's have a look. So these are the derived relative modes, guys. And you can see here, yes, Elizabeth, this is a blank worksheet in PDF Club. You will get this. It'll be linked in the lesson when it gets posted. Yes. So what I want you to see here is essentially, because this is derived, what's happening is we've got Ionian. We also know Ionian as major. Okay. We're also the beer mug. So we've got major there. Okay. So, but if you look down here, we've got those same notes. Remember, we had C, D, E, F, G, A, B. We put them in the circle there. Yeah, so we can put them in the circle there to see them. But what I want to do is I just want to plot these out for you. And in here, you can see we have the scale formulas as well. I've put those in there just so that you can refer to them. This blank sheet, you can put any key you want in there so that you can see what the mode would be. Yeah, but you can do that visually as well. So this is the kind of like brain part of this. But you can do it like a Sudoku puzzle, okay? And then... and put the grid on. You want the grid? Yes, we could do one of those. So let me just go through these. And I want you to spot, as I go across here, you'll see that there are no new notes. There's no notes with sharps, there's no notes with flats, okay? So look, Ionian, it's got a root, it's got a second. The second is D. It's got a third. The third is E. It's got a fourth. The fourth is F. It's got a fifth. The fifth is G. It's got a sixth, and the sixth is A. And then it's got a seventh, and the seventh there is a B. And then at the octave, we get back to that C again there, guys. Okay? Super. Hope that makes sense. Now here's how this tallies up. We're deriving this, like I say, completely from this. But the Dorian formula is different. We're starting from the D note, okay? So we're starting from the D. And because we're starting from the D, the organisation of the steps and half steps changes completely. So let's have a look. Let's apply this to this. And all we need to do is just go up that C major alphabet, yeah, and we go up. So the second. So if we go up to the second, let's tally that with that column there. The second is going to be an E, D, E. Then we get a flat third. Let's tally that up. Flat third, that's going to put the F here, okay? And what you can do, you can start to see that the pattern forms itself in front of your eyes, okay? So we've got the F there, which is the flat third. We've got a fourth, which is going to be the G. We've got a fifth, which is going to be an A, because we've gone back round as musical alphabet to the A. We get a major sixth for the Dorian, which is important, and that's going to be a B note. So you D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we've got a flat seven. Tally up along that column there. You see we get a C there, and then finish it off at the octave, and we get a D. Hopefully that makes sense there, guys. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So you can see that what's happened is this little grid has organised the notes in their spacings, and you can see that's a step, that's a half step, 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 half step. So you can see it's organised a little bit differently. But if you cross-reference, you'll see that D and that D, there, E and the E, the F, the E and the F are still next to each other. Everything's just moving along. Each one becomes more more important as part of the cue. So if you imagine this as being part of the front of the cue, now this is the most important: second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Okay, so next let's look at Phrygian. When we look at Phrygian has got a flat second, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to go that is an F. Can you see that makes sense, guys? Because I've not introduced any new notes. Because remember, the major scale is down here. Look, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. No new notes. It doesn't need to be an F sharp or anything else like that, because I'm not following the major pattern there. So now what happens is I need the flat third. Let's go down the flat third column here, and we get to this G here. Okay, and then we get the fourth. Let's go down there. We get the A. Let's go to the fifth, and you can see we get the B. And then we can see that with Phrygian we get a flat six. I don't know if you can see that actually. Let me zoom in. Might be useful to zoom in a little bit more with that. Let me just scoot that over that way a bit more. Right, okay, that's probably a bit better. So you can see we've got the fifth there. We've got a flat six. Hopefully you can see that there. The C goes there, and then we get a flat seven go on that column there. We get the D, and then we get to the end here. We get the E again. I'm working through all these here, so hopefully you can see that the scale formulas are reorganizing the notes, okay, into a different bunch of steps and half steps. Let's try Lydian here. So Lydian has got, it's got a second. Let's put it in there. So the next note we need is F, G. It's got a third. Let's go down that column there. That's going to be an A. Sharp 4. Well, look, there's the sharp 4 column. Let me just pull that down a little bit there. There's the sharp 4 column, and that's going to put my B note in there, okay? So I've got a B note there. Then what happens is I get my fifth, which is going to be a C. Look, yet again, B and C are next door to each other again. Nothing has changed, no extra notes. Fifth, we've got a sixth. Let's put the D in here. We've got a seventh. Put the E in there and put the F in there. And you can see we get E and F back there. There's no new values going in there. let's look at this. G mixolydian. We're going to have a G mixolydian. That's got a root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, flat 7. And I think the major modes are the easiest ones to memorize because for Lydian, all you do is you sharp the 4. For mixolydian, you flat the 7. It's nice and easy. So, but let's look at this. So it's got a second, which is this column here, which is going to be an A. It's got a third, which is a B. It's got a fourth, which is a C. It's got a fifth, which is a D. It's got a sixth, which is an E. But then look at this, yeah. And then it's got this. It's got a flat 7. So let's put that, boom, there. There's the F. Okay. So let's do this and finish it off. There's the octave. G there, G there. There's the full octave. Let's do it with Aeolian. Aeolian has a root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, flat 6, flat 7. It's got 3 flats. So it's got a B there for the second. Flat third, it has a C. Look, can you see? There's no new material here, guys. It's not from coming from another key. Right, so we've got that. We need the fourth, which is going to be this D. We need the fifth, which is this E. We've got a flat 6. Look at it, flat 6. Take down that column there, and then you can see that that's going to be an F. And then we've got a flat 7. Take it down that column there. You can see we've got a G. That's an A. This is going to be an A as well. And then we've got wobbly bob right at the end. Okay, we've got right at the end there. We've got flats 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7. Everything's flat, okay? So we've got B and C. But you could have probably already guessed that because you can see that the pattern, the way that things are going through here, B and C are always next door to each other. Look, and it follows. Can you see there's almost like a word search diagonal pattern thing happening there? So B, C, flat third is D. We've got the fourth, which is the unaltered note within the scale. Yeah, so we've got a fourth here, and that is going to be an E. Then we get a flat 5, and that's really important for this one because the flat 5 is the one that brings in that diminished sound. So if we go root, flat third to the flat 5, that's the diminished triad. So you can start to see all these different spellings of your chords as well. So right, okay, let's carry on. Flat 6, which is going to be a G. We've got a flat 7, which is going to be an A, and then we have this final note, which is a B there that finishes it all off. But really, guys, I've not added anything extra, to that little grid there. But I think that's a really useful way to look at the derived modes. Yes, we derive it from this major key, this major scale that we write down here. Okay, so we can write that major scale all the way down here. So all this stuff is going to be of this. Yes, it's all going to be available. You start to see the little patterns of how, like the Fs, and it kind of there's a kind of a diagonal nature to it, the way it all flows over. But that's going to make sense because each one is like starting on a different degree of the major scale, because that's what it is. Okay, so Ingo says, if I start playing from the Dorian D on the A chord and continue to low E, I get into the mixolydian. No. If you're playing the Dorian, I'll get into that. Let me show you that. I'm going to clear that up, Ingo. Yeah, right. So everything I did there, that's a numeric representation. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these with patterns as well. Okay. We'll go through the patterns now. Now it's time to take those ideas here. Now, this fretboard here is all the natural notes. So essentially, it is C major. Yeah, it's C major, guys. That's what it is. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the notes here. So you can see this is very easy to plot out. There will be a blank one of these as well in PDF Club for you to do this. Get a highlighter, do this exercise, plot it out just like a word search. Yeah, and when you do that, it just strengthens it. It makes it intrinsic. You feel like, because you're discovering the notes, it means more to you than me just telling you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this. I'm going to start on a red color actually. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this Ionian here. I'm going to do Ionian, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And what I want you to see is the deal with these notes here, guys, is that these patterns, they all end up hooking up into each other. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if I want to, I can refer to the scale formula and go root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So if we could do that here, root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then I'm back to my octave again. Okay, so we can do that, right? But let's carry on with this. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And what I'm going to do is, because just for the sake of neatness, I know that's 2 octaves, that's really where I should end it, but for a complete box pattern, we want to see it like that. Okay, so the thing to notice about this is that the root note here, just like we had, we've got the scale here, and on this diagram here, where I showed you in the circle, I added minors and diminished to the chords to help me. What I can also do is I can take this Dorian and I can just turn that there into a D minor there, okay? And I'm going to leave this as C major, but this is going to show me that this is going to be a C chord. It's going to be C. That's my C position, because this note here is my root note. Now, let me just play this. I'm going to play the chord, and you're going to associate the chord with the scale. Let me just switch over onto here. So what I'm going to do is I'm at the 8th fret, yes? Roll a bit of bass off on. Now you can hear, when I land on that chord, a good idea is to sandwich the scale between a chord. So if you play the chord, then play the scale, and then play the chord at the end, you'll hear that it sounds complete. Okay, this is the one. There you go. So you see there. So that takes care of the C. Now that doesn't, that's just wonderful as it is there, right? Okay, but the thing is, we've got the other 6 patterns to go at. Okay, and this is the thing, like I was saying, if you don't know this major scale yet, yeah, if you don't know this one, yeah, you need to learn that before you start tackling everything. Turn it down a bit, or you up a bit. Is it my guitar that's too quiet, or is it me that's too quiet? Voice or guitar? Yes? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do that. Right. Okay, so that's the C major. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to move up and I'm going to do the next one here. And I'm going to get another colour here. And then what I'll do is I'll play the chord and then I'll play the scale. And you will hear the mode. You'll hear it. Yeah, I'm going to go. I always think Dorian is very much a pastoral sort of, very kind of organic-y sounding. So I'm going to use a green on this. Dorian, I'm a little quiet. The guitar is loud. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure my volume isn't too high. We'll do that. Okay. There we go. Right. So we have that in progress. Okay. So we've got this D minor. But what we want to do is D minor is our chord. And actually, let me just show you something here, guys. Because the chord lives in the scale. And this is the beautiful thing is the chords live in the scale. Look at this. If I just put this here. Let me just get my zoom. I'm going to zoom in on this. Can you see the outline here of a D minor chord using an E minor shape? Yes, there's the E minor shape. Yeah, imagine that's the head note. Yeah, you can see that that's where it's starting. Yes, that's where it started. You can Hopefully that it makes it just a little bit easier to see. But what I'll do is I'll just fill in the rest of the notes. And remember, oh, you're going to need to see the whole of the rest of this here. So the D goes D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. It's not going to be any different notes than this, to be honest, because what I've done is I've drawn the diagram that just circles them. So look, D, E, F. So here I've got the root, I've got the second, I've got the flat third, I've got a fourth, I've got the fifth, I've got the sixth, which is just here. I've got the flat seven here, I've got the root here. And that's assuming that this is the starting note, okay? Because this is the thing where people get confused, okay? But this and these dots are all the same, yes? This is the same diagram as this. There's nothing different. Yeah, there's nothing, no extras in there, no sharps, no flats. Okay. Yes, Bill T, Legos. Legos, that's the thing. That's what you need to see is the Legos. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. So D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Let me get that E in there. G, A, B, C, D, E. You know, really should end on the D, but we're going to end on that F there just to finish the pattern off. But what we need to understand is that this becomes the starting point for the D minor chord. Okay, so that's the D minor chord there at fret 10. Okay, let's just do this. Let's just play this. I'm going to switch over to the old camera. So here's the camera, right? Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start at the 10th fret like I did before. Oh, hang on. Do you know what? If I think on and I'm a bit clever, then what I can do is I can show you both. Okay, so we're on this one here. We're on the Dorian here. So this is the 10th fret. So if I play that, that's the tonal center. That's the note. Now if I play the chord, now the scale will start to come alive a little bit more. Can you hear it isn't major anymore? Let me play the major for contrast. Yeah, just so that you understand. You see how it's different? Even though this scale is a new pattern and derived from that major scale, if you spread it out and we go up it by one scale degree every time. Yeah, root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth, flat seventh, root. It's, yeah, so this is why. We'll just take that there. So hopefully you can see the pattern, how it forms itself there. Right. Okay. Let's do another one here. We're going to do another mode here, and let's do. Tell you what we're going to do is we're going to get into the Phrygian. We're going through them systematically, one at a time. Let's do the Phrygian, and let's switch over here. I just put the old guitar down. And you can see here, this starts on E, right? And if I want to know what the chord is there, it's going to be E minor. That's chord 3. That's chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just like this diagram showed you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so just like that diagram was showing you what was going on. So that's going to be for chord 3. Now, what we're going to do, move this on. Let's reveal where that's going to be. So now I have to look. These are E-shaped patterns as well, I should say. We're looking at the root note starting on the E string. So these are, I'm thinking of these as E-shaped patterns, because if we look at the distribution of the root notes, it goes up to, over to, and it jumps over to the E string. Does the same here, jumps over that way. So we want the same thing here. We're looking for the E on the thick E string. So let's take that there. Let me get a contrasting colour. I'm going to do Phrygian's a bit moody, so let's do it with this moody orange colour here. Yes, so Phrygian, we've got the scale formula, roots, flat second, flat third. Look, watch, root. Let me just zoom in. Right, let's do this. So you can see the scale formula is just here. Root, flat second. E and F are next door to each other. There's the G. Here's the A. There's the B. There's the C. There's the D. There's the E. There's the F. Careful here. Yeah, there's the G. There's the A. I'm not going for this B because I'm going to use the open strings here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But this pattern here complies completely with this line up here that we had before. Yeah, and the cool thing is that this is now going to be the position where I play my E minor chord. This is going to put me, I'm in a different area, I'm in a different zone on the neck, yes? So we're in a completely different zone. And what I can do now is if I switch over to guitar, yeah, this is my E minor chord, okay? Split screen so that you can see the diagram and you can see the guitar as well. So there you can see E minor chord, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? What we're really doing is we're marrying the chord with the scale. Okay, this is important because really where it clicked for me was this idea that there are only 3 elements of pitch, yeah, that we need to learn: chords, scales, and arpeggios. And the idea is if you think that everything is essentially a chord, scale, and an arpeggio, then that's the way we can work with this. Now, really what we're doing is we're just doing chords and scales. We're leaving out arpeggios. That's a completely different lesson. Yes? So what we want to do is we're just focusing on this bit here. But this is what it's doing. I'm just marrying the scale with its parent chord, okay? And the parent chord comes from the major key because it's derived. Yes, it's relative to the tonic of the major key. Let's do the next one. Well, the next one, I'm going to use this yellow color here because that's Lydian, and Lydian is the lightest and brightest of all the modes here. So we've got so we're going to do Lydian. Let's switch over. Put the old guitar down again. Right, and I've got another box here, and what I'm going to do is this Lydian, you can see it starts on the F. Now, ordinarily, this is where the cage system can fall apart. There's that people think that there's no Lydian box, but it is possible to make it. So here, we're going to start on the F here. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and then G there. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge, really. But what we want to do is it's almost like the Phrygian, but what we've done is we've got rid of the E. Okay, so we're just going from F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. That would be the Lydian, but because it's a box pattern, I'm just going to finish it off. There. But if you want to think about Lydian as being the Phrygian pattern with no root note, then you can do. I think that makes it a little bit more convoluted myself. But what we want is, this is where the F chord's going to live. You see, so chordally wise, what we've got is we've got C, D minor, E minor, F. We've got the first 4 chords of the key of C major there. Okay, let me play that. Let me grab the old guitar. And I'll put this on split screen again. Right, so we've got this one here. Okay, so that's what we're doing, is we've got F. Yeah, the same path. But if I play that with an F, you can hear that that's a little bit different? It gives you, there's the tonal center, that F there. F, and what I meant by the caged octaves, those are the root notes for that chord and for the scale. So you can hear that wants to end on that chord. So start it on the chord, play the scale. That going on. All right, that's the Lydian. That's the Lydian mode. Next one we're going to do. Let's fire through these guys. Let's fire through them. Yeah, hopefully you can hear the chords as well. I should have played the chords for the other ones, but maybe that's something else for a little bit more in depth. Let's go to the next mode along. I'm going to use, yeah, because it gets used in blues. Let's put a blue on this one. This is going to be Mixolydian, and we're going to use a G Mixolydian. Actually, I need the full screen there. So we're going to do the G Mixolydian. So there's the tonic for the Mixolydian there. So G Mixolydian. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the G on my thick E string. Okay, so I'll go E, F, G, and that's going to tell me where I start. And I just spell up my C major scale from the G note. Yeah, from the G, from the 5th degree. So go G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now that's where it should end, but because I like to go all the way across, just put that extra note in there. It just feels a bit wrong, not filling it all out there. That's going to be my G here. So I've got my G major here. So this works brilliant with 7th chords because it's the dominant. You can do lots of other cool stuff with it. You can pick out chord shapes in the scales as well. That's another thing that's absolutely superb about these as well, is that they show you where other chords are going to come along. Okay, blue for the blue note, indeed, Sean. So what we're going to do is just switch over there. We can see we've got the pattern. Here is G. There's my scale, chord, sorry. Now you can see I go root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7. That's the difference between a major, flat 7, root. Let me play that. You can hear it? It's a little bit different than major. I'll play major. Can you hear the T-do at the end? T-do. Yes. Okay, so there's the G. So there's the scale pattern. Okay, so we're marrying the scale with the chord. And you can hear it sounds a little bit, I think it sounds like a kind of a tough sounding major, yes? But you can hear it's got some attitude, and that's the thing. I think that's probably the correct word that I think for Mixolydian. I think Mixolydian has attitude. Yeah, it's like it wears leather. You know, it hangs around on street corners and chews gum. And that's kind of the way that I see the Mixolydian. Now the next one we're going to do is we're going to look at Aeolian, and which is going to be, ooh, what colour have we got? What have we not used? Let's use this peachy one here. Yes, you can. They are bass patterns. Yes. So look, we've got the Aeolian here. Let's move over from this. All right. Let's go here. We're going from Aeolian. We're going to start on the A. Right. Oh, let me put the tonality of this in as well. This is going to be an A minor chord. And while I'm here, let's just put that diminished in there. Yeah, we're going to call that diminished. So we've got the A minor here. So, look, A. Right, I'm just going to follow, I can follow the scale formula, but obviously because this is all in C major, it's all going to work. Yes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. That would be 2 octaves, but I like to finish it off because it'd be rude not to. Right, so if I do that there, yeah, you could sound a bit Spanish as well, I think, because it's not far. I think that the dominant and the Phrygian chord 3 are very, very close. They've got common scale tones. Yeah, so that is going to give me the it's going to give me the Aeolian, which is my relative minor. Look, so this is the minor. All right, somebody mentioned that earlier on about major and minor. They're just these, you know. So you're used to using major and minor. You got to think of Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, and Locrian as being a similar sort of scenario. Instead of just having 2 of them that it starts on, you know, on the 1 and the 6, it starts on the 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 7. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put an A minor there. Okay, that looks like a proper M there. So put the A minor there, and this is my root note of my scale. Okay, yeah. So what we do, let me take this here. Let me take this again. I'm going to go to main camera. Let's go to my main camera. We've got A minor, 5th fret. This is an A. This is the chord. Okay, so this is the chord. Now if I play the scale, I'm just playing the notes from C major, but starting from the A, which is the 6th note of C major. Yeah. Okay. So you hear the scale and the chord, okay? It's very tempting to do the blues scale because the blues scale lives on top of that as well. So you can stick that on there if you want. Yeah, but here, so you can hear that scale marries that chord because they are one and the same thing. They're just described differently. One's described in single notes, and the other chord is describing its sound as a bunch of notes all played at the same time, which is called polyphony. Yeah, scales are monophony. But with the scale, we've got 7 different notes. With the chord, we've got 3 different notes. Yeah, unless we add other notes by making them more colourful by adding 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, and 13ths. Yes, and then other notes from outside of the normal thing. That's a different kettle of fish as well. Okay, so we've done the A minor. Now, I've got to do it. I've got to do Wobbly Bob, haven't I? You cannot leave Wobbly Bob out, okay? We can't leave him out. So we're going to have to include him in the whole setup. So we're going to have Wobbly Bob. Now you can see Wobbly Bob is a B diminished chord here. He's a B diminished. So we're going to start on the E string again. We're going to start on the B. This is a 7th fret. And this is going to be B diminished. Probably what I'll do is I'll extend it and I'll put it as a B half diminished chord. Yeah, not no, I won't go into that. Yeah, so we've got B, C, D. I'm going to do it because it's a bit of a odd sound. I'm going to do it with this yellow color here. B, C, D, E, F, G. So I'm starting on the 7th note of the C major scale, which is a B, and then I build my scale up from that and use the chord, the parent chord as well. So here, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B finishes it off for the 2 octaves, but it would be rude to not finish the whole string. So I'll play that, fill all that lot in there, and that gives me my next chord and scale. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play that for you. Here we go. Right, so here we are with this. Remember, we're looking for the B on the E string, which is the 7th fret, because we should know that really easy because we've got bead there, battle ends and down, just to help us. So we've got the bead there. I'm going to play this chord. This is the minor 7 flat 5. Okay, listen to that. Listen to the tension in that chord. Minor 7, like that. But when I add that flat 5 in, why do I add the flat 5? Because it's in the scale formula. Okay, so let me just quickly zoom in on that bit. Just going to zoom in on the Locrian there. We've got the flat 5, guys. The flat 5 is part of the scale formula. Look, I'll use my little thing there. You can see, so look, flat 5. It's in there. That's why you've got to put it in here. So Wobbly Bob definitely gets a mention. And I would actually say that this pattern, even though you might not think of it as being using it as Locrian, this pattern is wonderful to use for your fingers, just because of the distribution of your fingers. Watch my fingers in this, and you'll notice this through these patterns as well, which is why I think these box patterns are great, is they don't give you too wide fingerings. Yes, 3-note per string gives you super wide fingerings. Yeah, so I think they can be a little bit harsh on beginners. You'll need to learn them eventually. But if you can start and get your mode sounds with smaller box patterns like this, then it makes sense. So we've got root, flat 2nd, flat 3rd, 4th, flat 5th, flat 6th, flat 7. Okay? It's nice and easy to play, is that? Now you can hear, even though I started in that, when I stated this chord here, I was saying that we'd move to the Aeolian sound. By finishing it on that chord to define the resolution. This isn't parallel mode playing. This is well, I suppose you could say that this is. All the scales make this have the same thing. Another way to look at it, let me just explain this. I'll explain it like this. Okay, there's my C major chord, yeah? Now what I can do is I can play the major scale there, yeah? Gives me the chord and the scale that live together. So these are relative derived modes, okay? But if I start from that, if I keep the same pattern, but I start on that note there, then I'm starting on the D, which means I'm starting. I think this is an awful way to do it. What we need to do is just look at this, look at these box patterns and get to grips with these first. And in fact, actually, yeah, okay. I think there's a little bit, probably a little bit too much overthinking going on here. Okay, this is right. So what we've done so far, we've got these patterns. Okay, we've got these patterns, and I'll just show you these patterns. Okay, look at the distance that they go. Yeah, they're really hand friendly. So you have to learn these patterns. You learn to play them. You figure out which finger is going to use it, and generally what you're going to do is you're going to use what I call finger of fret. Yeah, positional playing. Okay, otherwise known as positional playing. So if I'm playing the C major, I'm thinking I'm assigning fingers for frets. Now when I move, I have to compensate and move up and scrunch and reach down for other notes, but they're only ever going to be one fret away. Okay, so we're looking at really at the technicalities of playing the box patterns. But if I think about it, I'm thinking that that's how my notes are distributed. It's over 4 frets, and that's what's going on with that pattern there, guys. That's what's going on with this pattern. It's what's going on nearly with this pattern. We have to move out a little bit. There's a little bit of a shift on this one. This one, it's all within your hand. You're cheating here. You've got open strings, right? So the thing is, that's all within one position, okay? You can do the same with the F there. That's all within one position. Nice and easy for you to get your hands around, okay? This one, look, it does shift a little bit. You can't get away from the shifts. Yeah, you've got to absorb the shifts. But look at this. This is a lovely way to play Aeolian rather than the 3-note per string method. I think the 3-note per string method can be really does make you sound scaly, because it's harder to see the chord shape in the 3-note per string, whereas with this the chord shape is living inside it because they are superimposed over each other. But not only the chord shape, like I said, chord, scale and arpeggio, and the same thing's going to apply here. In fact, you know, if I wanted to, I could show you. I was playing the B minor 7 flat 5. There's the B, there's the root, there's the minor 7, and there's the minor 3rd, and there's the flat 5. Yeah, so I can see where the chord is, and I can think to myself, oh, are there any other ways to make that a bit more interesting, you know? So I can change things around, and I can really mess around with my chords with that, guys, right? So, okay, so that's the way that I see that as being the derived method. Now, somebody mentioned Lego, yeah, and that's what happens with all of these shapes. You can see how they scudge up and merge into each other. Now, if you've done the lesson where I talked about learning your fretboard using the 3 patterns, and we've got the power of this one here where you've got minor mode here and you've got major mode here. Yeah, you can see that you can actually do 6 of them with 6 of these modes with just 3 patterns, with just 3 shapes. But I think it's also useful to understand how to play all of these shapes here. Okay, so the thing to get was, okay, Annick says, and that's the critical thing with the, yes, this is the thing, and I think this is it. Most of the shredding are done with 3 note per string. Yeah, 4 note per string. Yeah, if you've got big hands, wide stretch, yeah, 3 note per string is going to be wonderful for you. You know, I have to really work to maintain 3 note per string. When I've got them firing away, it's very rapid, and you know, you can do some super fast runs with that sort of stuff. Less so with this kind of box pattern approach. Yes, you'll be able to find little bits of speed bursts in there, but I think that I tend to think that these patterns here are all about melody, and isn't that what music's about, guys? It's about having melody in it. So really, that's what I'm saying about this here. Yeah, 3 note per string. That's, like I say, that's a whole nother topic. But the thing about 3 note per string is there's some goodies, there's some hidden goodies in there. Yes. What does Lego stand for? We don't stand on Lego. We don't stand on Lego. Davis Rogers. Yes, the 3rd relative is the 6th degree of the key. Yeah, so that's it. The 6th note up. My question is, are they not all relative? They are all relative. If you want to think of them modally. If you're thinking in major or minor, yeah, chord 6 is the minor. That's it. The 6th degree is the relative minor, the tonic of the relative minor. Yeah? But if you want to think modally, then the 2nd degree of the major scale is the tonic of the 2nd mode, which is Dorian. Okay? So you can kind of think of it like that. But what we had here, so we've got these patterns here, guys. You just need to play them. You just need to play. Oh, you call them Legos. Oh, I do not like Lego. I like it for explaining things, but Lego when I was younger, it was an eight brick one. I rolled my naked foot along on a Lego, and the pain was it was excruciating. Yes, the pain was excruciating. That's why I'm not a fan of Lego. Right. So these will be in PDF Club as well, guys. I've also drawn out the chords already for you as well. That's going to go into PDF Club. We have that there. Where am I with my sheets of paper? Seem to be missing one here. Am I missing one? I'll find it in a minute, I'm sure. In the wrong place. Oh, there it is. It's under here. And this one will be in here. But I need this one to show you. Right. Okay. So here's where it gets different. This is going to explain it, guys. Hopefully this is going to explain the difference. Yeah, well, that's the thing. What we're not going to get into the 3-note per string things and caged. Yeah. Do you know the thing is, as long as it works, like Jimmy Bruno has a complete scale system that he devised himself. You should check it out. It's absolutely amazing thing. Pat Martino had his own system. There's lots of different systems. Berkeley has its own system, which I'm not particularly keen on. And there was one for RGT that was particularly convoluted that I didn't think was intuitive. But if we can keep it nice and easy in the hand, so we're not thinking, you want to be thinking about memorizing the scale and the patterns and not thinking about, this hurts. Yeah, so we don't want to be thinking about that. But the beautiful thing is once I show you these patterns, and Ingo's just mentioned the pentatonics, all these patterns, they have skeleton patterns within them of the pentatonics. And you think about what we learn to play first, we'll learn the pentatonics. This feels more like a natural extension of the pentatonics, but it takes you into the realm of modes. And that's the thing. That's what we're doing, really. There's lots of different ways. There's a few different approaches with how you finger the modes. Right. Now, let me get into this, guys, because time's trotting on. We are getting on here. We're firing through this. Let's just look at the overhead, and it's this one here. Right. So what we have here is we have derived modes. Okay. So we've just gone through that, and you can see that we used the C major scale for our material. Yes. Now, if we run parallel modes, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do this. I'm going to have a tonal center of the note A. This is our tonal center, guys. Now, the thing is, the chord is probably going to the chord has to match it. Yeah. And this is why we end up with completely different sounding chords for modes. Yes. There's certain things that you can't include in your voicing of your chords for modes to work. And that, like I say, that is a completely different lesson. But what you're going to see now is as we generate these modes here, yeah, and I'll demonstrate these on the A string as we go up, okay, and we'll use the formulas. We can see that we're going to add other notes that have sharps and flats, because these are going to be from different keys. Now, if we think of Ionian as major, okay, we think of Ionian as major, right? Then we know that the major scale, the A major scale, goes root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and root there. So we're going to get a B. Okay. Now we need a third. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? B and C are normally together, but we're not using a flat third. We need a major third. So let's scoot that up a half step. And that means that we get a C sharp. Okay. So this is where this starts to come alive a bit more. You can see that we're developing this up here. A, B, C. Now the next note we get is a fourth, which is going to be a D. The next note we get is a fifth, which is an E. The next note we get is a sixth. Hang on, E and F are next to each other. But I don't want a flat six, I need a major six. So the thing is, I have to scoot that F up a half step, which means I have to raise it by sharpening it. So that becomes an F sharp, okay? And then we get a 7, okay? Then we get a 7, and the 7 is going to be, well, this is an F sharp. A G would be here, so this would be a G sharp, guys. Look, so you can see what's happened is it's revealed my sharps here. And these would be the sharps that I'd learn ordinarily on my key signature, because we'd go Father Charles goes, the last sharp, if we raise it a semitone, you can see here what happens is that takes us to the tonic of the major, okay, of that key there. So hopefully that makes sense. I tie that in there, but I just want you to see that. But now what I want you to do is I want you to hear how that sounds with, I want to hear you to hear how that sounds with the guitar, okay? So I'm just going to play this up the A string. There's the A, okay? So it said I go second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, root. And you can hear do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yes? There's the home chord. Because it's Ionian, it's major. So the home chord is going to be a major tonality, okay? Okay? So we've got that there. Now, let's look at the next one. Okay, I'm going to go through these. I'm just wondering, actually. What I can do, yeah, is I can play that pattern. I'm going to do that. I'm going to actually do that. I'm going to play the pattern that I had. But I'm going to play that Ionian pattern that I had. I'm going to play it with the drone here. So I'll show you. The notes have all changed. The pattern has stayed. Okay, the pattern is exactly the same, but the notes have changed. Here's an A drone note. Root, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, root, yeah? Okay, so we've got that just living just there, okay? And what I like to do is I can play this with, I can make the sound even more modal, and I like this sound here. This is, I'm using a chord here to make this sound even more major. So this is the modal chord that I'm going to use with that. So you can hear that sits exactly on that A note here. Remember, we played it here at C for C major. Let me stop that drone, otherwise it will pollute our ears. Drone too loud? Let me just try that drone again. Turn it down a little bit there. Hopefully that's better. Turn the guitar up just a little touch. Yeah, so let me just start that again. So hopefully that makes sense, okay? Now, this drone that I'm playing, it's just an A note. It's just an A note, okay? So when I play that drone, there's the chord, there's the underlying sound. Let's look at that. Yeah, so we've got that there. The audio is weird today. I don't understand why. Right, okay, we'll have to live with it, guys. We'll have to live with it. We'll see what it's like on the playback. Okay, so switching back. We have the Dorian to go at next. And you'll find that it follows exactly the same formula of root, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth, flat seven, and then the octave there. But what you'll see is that because we're going along with this in sequence, following it there, the notes will change. A Dorian, yes, is chord 2 of G major. Okay. So this is the thing. If we were thinking of it from its derived perspective, that would be how we're thinking about it. But we're thinking about it parallel, because notice what we're doing here. We've just got the same note all the way down here, guys. Just got the same note all the way down here. Yeah, so same note. Right, okay, so let's look. So we'll do the second in here. Well, the second for the Dorian is going to be a B there. We can see that the flat third is going to give us a C. Okay, so okay, we've got A, B, C. That's okay, we're all good. Me bass player, me play A. Love that. So we've got the fourth. We've got a fourth here. And this is going to be a D. And then we've got a fifth, which is going to be an E. We've got a sixth, which is going to bring in this F sharp. Okay, which makes sense because in the key of G, the seventh note is the F sharp, okay, because it's the leading note to the G. That would be the G just there. It's also got a flat 7, which is going to be the G. Look, you can see that the leading note just applies itself there. And then we get back to the A there, okay. So this is going to be A Dorian. This is A Dorian here, guys. Now the pattern, we've already looked at the patterns. It's the same pattern. The pattern is the same. I'm just shifting position. But now what I'm doing is I'm moving. Let me just play the drone note. Same drone note. It's an A here, guys. But the chord, because I'm thinking Dorian, it's chord 2. The chord for chord 2, the tonality of chord 2 is minor. So I'm going to play a minor chord. There's the A minor. Okay. Root, second flat third, fourth, fifth, flat sixth. That's the money note in Dorian. Yeah, and the second. Okay. So you can hear. Even though that's the same note there, we're thinking about it this way, right? So now the thing is, if I go down to that G, can you hear, even though that, with that drone still being there, if I just actually turn that drone up a little bit more so it's more present, yeah? Listen, I'm changing from the A minor to the G. Can you hear the sound that we're getting? That A drone is still going there, but this is chord 2, this is chord 1. That tonal centre is being determined by that drone note, and when I play the A minor chord, despite me playing a G, which is the key that the parent key that it's from, if we're thinking of it as being a derived idea, yeah. But we're not thinking of it in that. We're thinking of it in parallel here. Okay, so let's look at this next one here, and what we've got Phrygian. Okay, we've got Phrygian here, and we've. Has my mic gone off? You still hear me, Mrs. Ricky? Yep. Okay. All right. Feels like audio issues. Yes, it does sound like Marillion. It does. We've got a flat second. Well, that's going to be here. Right. Well, that's going to be a B flat. Now, when we write out scale formulas using the letters, we don't repeat the letters. I wouldn't have an A sharp there, guys. I would keep that as a B. Okay, so it's always going to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, some variety going up here. So A, B flat. So the flat third is what we need there. This would be my B ordinarily, so I need a C here. Okay, my fourth is there. And the thing to notice with all of these, apart from Lydian, is that the fourth is untainted. The drum. I'm not sure what's going on. I've turned my microphone up. Right, okay, so I'll just be louder. So we've got a fifth here, which is going to be an E. We have a flat 6 now. Look here, there's the F. Okay, flat 6 is going to be an F because E and F are next door to each other. We get a flat 7. Well, that's going to be an F sharp, and that's going to be a G. Well, some of the other scales are going to show the way, and then you can see we get an A there. But look at the difference between Dorian and Phrygian. You can see that Phrygian has the most alterations really there in that scale as a minor scale. So that's pretty cool. Right, let's look at the next one. Okay, we've got the Lydian. Let's look at Lydian. Lydian is a major scale with a sharp 4. So let's just fire through that. We've got a second, which is going to be a B. We've got a third, which is going to be a C sharp. Now let's have a look. The fourth, it's not like this. The fourth is a sharp 4. We can see that we've got a D there. We don't have a D there. We move it up a half step, and this gives us the D sharp here, guys. So we get the D sharp, and then what happens is we get a fifth again. A D sharp leads to an E, which is going to lead us to a 6, which we need is going to be an F sharp, because we're going up a half step. And then what we're going to do is we need a major 7, F sharp, G is going to be there. This goes up a half step, it's going to give us a G sharp, you can see there, and then we get an A here. Yeah, so this is chord 4, right? Let's have a look. Can you hear me? It sounds okay. Am I on full volume? I'm not on full volume. We have to crack on. We'll be all right. Okay, so it almost drowns me out. Otherwise, all is fine. I think I turned the drone note up a bit, to be honest. Let me just turn it down a bit. Okay. Getting a fine balance. Okay, so this is going to be chord 4. Chord 4 in this case is going to be back to that major. Okay, so we're going to go major on this. Let's switch over to guitar. Let's get the drone on. Right, so look. Now I'll play the scale. I'll play the major scale for contrast. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Yeah, but what I do is I take the fourth note. Do, re, mi, fa. I raise that a sharp 4. Puts it there. There's the fifth. That's the note that defines it, because it's. We get this tritone here, this sharp 4 distance. There's the root, there's the sharp 4. Yes? Yes, we got. You can hear how that works there. So that's chord 4. Yeah, and I could. Chord 3 would be there. Can you hear how that works? I'm thinking in the key now. I'm deriving it. Okay, so that is the Lydian. You can hear the Lydian sound there, but you know, you can play the. Yeah. So just stop that drone because it will drive you potty at the end. Davis Rogers says, is there a reason? I wonder if I can put that up. Let me remove that out of the way. Is there a reason you use B flat instead of A sharp and then you use C sharp instead of D flat? Is there a reason behind this naming convention or just a roll of the dice 50-50? No, it's not a roll of the dice at all. I briefly explained it. Basically, what we want to do is we want to avoid confusion. Yes, you'll notice that alphabetically these letters are going up in order. They might have sharps on them or something, and that's fine. Yeah, but the thing is, the letters remain the same convention, and depending on what the letter is, then we get a sharp or a flat accordingly. So you can see here that this Phrygian here, it's got a flat second, so I'm going to have a B flat here. If I had I wouldn't want to call it an A sharp because it would confuse me when I'm saying it can't have the tonic there as an A. If you're in a band and you say everyone goes yeah, back to the A, and you go, oh, which A? Do you mean the A sharp? Letters, yeah, the letters don't repeat. You can't have two notes with the same letter. So really that's what it is, and that's what's determining what is the sharps or flats that we get in there. Okay, right. Okay, so let's move on there. So we've got Mixolydian now. Now Mixolydian's nice and easy because it's pretty much the same as major, but it's got a flat 7. So we've got A, B, C, D, E, and then what happens is we've got a 6, so we've got an F sharp, right? But then we get this G here. Okay, look at that, G. We get this G here, and then we get back to the A here. I can play that here. So let's have a look again. And now this is major because these are your major modes, guys. You know, so that's the way we're looking at it. I like this chord. This is a G over an A. Yeah, very. It reminds me of. Yeah, did you know? You know that one? Luther Vandross, I think it is. But that one, I'm playing a little triad here. I'm playing a G triad with an A in the bass. Yeah, so to provide my tonal center. But then if I play the drone as well, you'll hear the chord. Yeah, and this chord will go with this. So I'm getting, that's my true tonic for this. I'll play the scale, root, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, flat 7, root, okay. Creates a whole different vibe, yeah? So with that. Yeah, and it will. The tonic is A. Why did I refer to the G? Because it's got the. Yeah, because basically I'm thinking of this is chord 5. When I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking of this as being chord 4 with the modal tonal center in the bass to keep it all glued together. So there's the A, yeah. Yeah. You can hear it finish on its resolution there. So I'm thinking about that as chord 4, and then, well, I'm not thinking of it as chord 4. I'm just thinking of it as these two chords work with each other. That's for the modal chord progressions session. I could even just move it up there. resolve up. Wants to go there. Yeah. Can sound a little bit Scottish, I think. Bagpipey, especially with the drone. So, let's move back onto another one of these. Let's go to Aeolian. Well, Aeolian, we've got a B, which is the second. The flat third. All right, okay, that's cool, Kenocha. Right, so the flat third is going to be, it's going to be the C. Look, there's the flat third. We're just marrying it down there. Yeah, we've got that there. Yeah, I'm Not in Love, is it? Hall & Oates. Flat third, okay? So then we can see the fourth here is going to be the D. Then we've got the fifth, which is going to be an E. Then we've got a flat six, which is going to be the F. And this makes sense because Aeolian is... But this should match here. Look, it should match. Aeolian, it matches here. Look, there's the derived formula. Look at the notes, no sharps or flats. Here it is, just using that as, from the parallel from that modal tonal center. Yes. There, and then I go G here, and I go A there. So that's the Aeolian, and that's going to give me, this slightly different sound here. And what I like about this one, this is a nice little chord here. This is an F major 7 over A. Okay. The F major 7 is, you could think of it as bit. No, you're not. No, I'm not going to get there. Okay. I need a C sharp on the Mixolydian. I do need a C sharp on the Mixolydian. You are very correct. Well spotted. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Okay, so if I take here, this is a nice chord. This is an F major 7 over an A. If I take this chord here, and let me play this with the drone, that pulls out the sound of the mode. These chords that I've got here, they'll be available in the PDF Club handout. Yeah, then I can put that there. Okay, but we can hear. There's the minor. That's the parent chord for the scale. Very sad sounding. So what I can do is you can put that on there, just put a modal flavour in. That was not pentatonic. Remember I said that was the skeleton. Yeah, now add it as being the Aeolian. String, so the reason that 3-note per string is a little bit tricky if you're used to 3-note per string, it's crossing over strings with 2 notes on. 3 notes, 3 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes, 3 notes, 3 notes, yeah. And that chord really brings out the, I think brings out that Aeolian flavour. So, and then the last one we're going to look at on this is going to be Locrian. Everything's flat. Look at this. Right, so we're going to have Locrian. We've got a B flat. For the flat third, we've got a C. Right. For the fourth, we've got a D. For the flat 5, we're going to have an E flat. Okay. For the E flat, okay, and then what we've got is we've got a flat 6, which is going to be an F, and then we've got a flat 7, which is going to be a G, and then you can see we're back to the B here. So really only 2 flats involved in that, but when you look at the scale formula, it makes it a little bit more convoluted. Now, the chord for this, the thing with this scale is, like I say, I'm going to think of this as there's a couple of ways of tackling this, really. And one of the ways that I like to tackle this is that I kind of like to think of it as a modified box 4 pattern from a pentatonic. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Or I can modify box 1, which is interesting. But if I put the drone on, hopefully you'll see it. Let me do close-up guitar. Let's switch over there. I'm going to put this on the drone again. So now, remember, this is chord 7, so it's really diminished. But I'm going to put this -7 flat 5 on there. But that doesn't really... what I want to do is I want to lean on that the flat 5 chord in there, and I'm going to play this. Oh no, sorry, wrong chord. Is that it? No, that's not it, Ricky. Where is it? Oh, it's here. This is it. That's what it would be. Okay. Look at that. That's going to be my chord. Now let me put the drone on. Let me play the scale. Total center shifts there, guys. Listen to that. Yeah. But -7 flat 5 is probably your easiest win. But if I want to play the scale as a pentatonic, yeah, it doesn't really work. So what we have to do is we have to modify it, and we end up playing root 3rd, flat 3rd, sorry, 4th, flat 5, 7, 8, root there. Interesting clusters, but don't dismiss the, in this sense, don't dismiss the Locrian, because the thing is that the tension is what makes the resolution so much sweeter. Yeah, so the thing is, we need that tension to be able to resolve, okay? But you kind of need to hear that tension to really move away. Didn't sound anything like the major, did it? So the thing is, it's like if like I say, if you do that sandwich, you play the chord, you play the scale, you play the chord again, then what will happen is you'll find the pattern, okay? But like I was saying with this, guys, I've got a whole bunch of chords for you to practice. That are going to be in the PDF club, and what I'll do is I'll probably, like I say, I'm going to plan. I've got a plan anyhow for doing modal chord progressions and adding these kind of sounding chords in there, and what we can do is. Then you can apply the modes even more, because really modes come alive with the music that's underneath. Okay, that's really what it is. It's the chords, the underlying chordal harmony that makes everything happen, and it creates the tensions, creates the resolutions, and that's what we're doing. And that's what moods are, really, if you think about it. If someone's in a bad mood, you don't want them to be in a bad you don't want them to be in a bad mood. You want them to be in a good mood. So it's like, so you think going from bad mood to good mood, that's what we're doing here. Okay, so really that's what we're at there. But I really needed you to see that we can play these chords in isolation, and all of these here, these parallel modes. You know, you can switcheroo, and you can think to yourself, oh, hang on, what was he saying about that mode there? It was like, hang on, so that's chord 2 in another key, okay? That's chord 3 in another key. This is chord 4 in another key. This is chord 5 in another key. This is chord 6 in another key, and this is chord 7 in another. The root didn't change in Locrian; it was still an A. Yeah, I was playing an E flat over an A. Yeah, I was playing an E flat major over an A chord, A note. Yeah, as the slash chord. So essentially, that was what was going on there. So that's parallel. That's derived. Okay, we have those there. I won't get into these today. That'll be something for another probably a little standalone lesson. But what I'll do is I will upload all that stuff to PDF Club. I'll get it scanned and uploaded. Hopefully, it's been a little bit of a different perspective today. I've not felt as much confusion, because you may have been mulling over the theory side of things about where they all come from, but this is a different representation. Last week, I saw a few things that made sense to a lot of you, so tailored this week's lesson a little bit more to it. Okay, so you can play them relatively where they all connect into each other, or you can play them parallel where you've just got one thing. But the thing to remember is that playing the pattern doesn't mean that you'll get the modal sound. It all depends on that underlying chordal harmony. Okay. And that's the important thing. So don't confuse the scale patterns and you play the pattern and think that it's going to sound like the mode. It isn't. Yeah, it all depends on the chords. So don't confuse the scale patterns with the sounds. Okay, that's the thing. Right. I think, was that a written mistake on Locrian? Which one? Which one? Did I flatten everything? Let's have a look. This whiteout is ready. Let's have a look. On Locrian, we've got a root, we've got a flat second, we've got a flat third, we've got a fourth, we've got a flat fifth, we've got a flat sixth, we've got a flat seven, and we've got that. Oh, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I hope everything's okay there, Greg. So hopefully that's explained it. Yeah, that was fine. They're all fine. That's all in order. 8th of Locrian on parallel sheet. Oh yeah. You are right. Actually, no, you are right. The 8th degree. Woo. Yeah. I didn't spot that when I looked. I was just like looking. I thought, oh, I'd have written. I thought it was a no-brainer. I thought I would have written that correctly. It's altered now. It's sorted. I've changed it now, guys. So what I'll also do is I did in last week's lesson, I posted a link in the description of this video, of the last video, for Ben's drone tracks. If you want to use those, then they're just simple drone tracks. They last about 4.5 minutes, I think. If you go over to Ben's channel, I'll put the link here. Yeah, I'll put the link there. If you want to open that, save that, bookmark that link. Bookmark that link there, guys, and then you've got all 12 drones there, so you can practice your parallel modes in whatever with whatever tonic you want. No, like not loss. Nathan, you weren't going mad. It was me. Yeah, it was my boo boo. So Okay. All you've got to do is you've got to apply it now. I've shown you the patterns. PDF Club members, you're gonna get the PDFs. Practice. Let's have a look. Let's get the drones on. All that business. The PDF's going in there. If you don't know what PDF Club is, hang on. Let me just shift over to here. If you don't know what PDF Club is, then this is how you get to PDF Club. There is a coupon. I like saying that. We've got a coupon. I feel all proper, like a big boy. That if you want, Mrs. Ricky, can you post that in the chat here as well, please? With 20 quid off, if you want to join PDF Club, it'd be great to see you in there. If you want to join the Fretboard fraternity, it's completely free. Yes, and it'd be great to see you in there. And if you want to support the channel and you want to get a good book on playing guitar, then what you do is this is the good book. Yeah, you can get it in hard copy and digital copy. 80 lessons in it. Yeah, if you've not seen it before, there's so many goodies in here that are going to help you on your way. And there's a link in the Fretboard fraternity that goes through my whole thinking about the book and how it all progresses. So that buying the book's the best way to support my channel, or PDF Club, whichever one you feel is going to be the best value for you. And that's pretty much it. Guys, I'm going to say thank you for rocking up today. How many have we got on? We've got 113 on now. Everybody's going. We've got 130 likes. We're leaving on a higher like ratio. We like that. Let's do that business. So giving you your homework, and I will see you next week for something completely different. We've done modes. We've done modes. We're going to do something. We're going to do something that I have yet to decide. I think I should do something from the book. Now, Sean mentioned bends and slides. There is a video on that, dude. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's on the channel. I'll post it in the Fretboard fraternity for you, and I'll tag you in it. Okay. So, pardon? The links. Oh, the link for the drones. It might be the link for the drone. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll copy, I'll paste, and I will add that to the video itself. This is really kind of bizarre to do this. I don't know if I can actually do this. Can I do it? I might be able to do it. Let's have a look. Let's go there. I'll do it at the end. Here, I'm doing it at the end. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pin it in the comments, guys. Right? What I want you to do is I'm going to pin the drones, the drone link to the drones in the video comments. So when the video stops, if you want to drop a comment in there, say you've got the link, you've opened the link, or whatever, engagement on it will be good for the channel as well. And that would be super, super useful. I'm probably going to hear myself talking again. All right, let's see the chat if it comes up. Live chat. Oh no, I've got to end the video. So once I do that, I'll put that in there, and then we're golden. We're golden, guys. Look, remember who you're playing guitar for. You're playing guitar for you, not for anybody else. And make sure you get that practice in, because it isn't going to happen if you don't practice. You know, you've just got to get it all done. Get it done. Yeah, and you'll be consistent, and you get good. You get better. It gets better, and then you'll be playing all the stuff that you want to play on the guitar. Much love to you guys. Thanks for coming along today. And I will see you next Wednesday. Back here, same time, UK time. And looking forward to that. Take care. Bye.